Presentation is on Boeing 737 MAX. My name is Shoaib.
My name is Paul.
My name is Abed.
My name is Natalie.
My name is Flora.
So, what is Boeing? It was founded in July 15, 1916. It is one of the most popular and known aircraft makers for aircraft, wings and all the materials needed for the airplane. It's a corporation that designs and also sells airplanes. They also manufacture and sell rotorcraft, rockets, and satellites. They also lost their credibility.
So why did they lose their credibility necessarily? So the first crash that actually happened was Lion Air Flight 610, which was leaving Jakarta International Airport on its way to the small city of Bangkok, Penang, which was about an hour flight or so. And the control center, or the crew contacted the air control center and were speaking directly with them, saying, but it wasn't necessarily a distress or a mayday call. So they kind of just banked to the left, and then they tried to pick up speed and get back in the air, but they struggled with altitude changes. They would suddenly rise really quickly and then they would drop very quickly. And so within 11 minutes in, they completely lost communications with the control center, and that ended up with the 189 deaths completely. So everyone passed away on that crash. And then the second biggest Boeing crash that just happened was the Ethiopian Air Flight 302, which was on its way from Ethiopia to Kenya, and that was also a very short flight, but similar events occurred. And because of that, they also struggled to ascend into the air. And within 6 minutes, so this one was a shorter time frame, all passengers passed away because of the flight, and that was 157 deaths. So what was the reason, or what was the cause of these plane crashes? So Boeing had actually incorporated this new control software into their planes, but didn't actually tell pilots about it. So this software, MCAS, is said to that both pilots actually didn't know about the software and they didn't receive training on it. So that's probably why they couldn't control the airplane, because they couldn't override it and take manual control.
So we're going to talk about finances. After the two fatal crashes that killed about 346 people, President Trump's authorities ordered for the groundings of the 737, and the Federal Aviation Administration officially ordered for the grounding of these planes. So that means they can't run anymore or something, they can't take off. Finances, Boeing will pay for the 737 MAX crashes. 346 people died, right? And they signed a $100 million pledge. $50 million would go toward recovery, sort of family members and all that. So that would total out to $144,508 per person that died in the plane crash. The other $50 million will go toward economic empowerment, in communities that got affected on all these things. Profits. So now we're going to talk about profits, and Boeing faces a big financial fallout. So profits have fallen 95% since the last 9 months of the crashes, right? So the first crash happened on October the 8th, second crash happened in March, right? So after that, 95% of the profits took a big hit. As you can see here, on December 2018, they had a $3.4 billion increase, but after that, after the crashes happened in October and March, it fell in June 2019, it fell $3.6 billion. Boeing also reported that they lost $5 billion after grounding issues, right? Like how they had to ground all these flights so they couldn't deliver more planes to the companies. Commercial airlines lost $40 million from July to September. Also, compared to 2018, earnings from operations fell from $7 billion to $229 million. That's a huge impact. Also, they had a loss of orders from major airlines. So Lions, the plane that crashed, Lions Airline, right, from Indonesia, right? They cut ties with Boeing. They're like, oh, we're not gonna buy planes from these people anymore. Saudi Arabia also cut ties with Boeing. They're like, oh, we're gonna buy planes from someone else now.
Now we will talk about the lawsuits against Boeing. Boeing has over 150 lawsuits from families for both crashes. Spokesperson Peter Pedraza from Boeing, he stated that Boeing has settled dozens of these claims, but the terms of the claims have been kept confidential. However, in all of these claims, Boeing has not accepted any liability for the crashes. Boeing is also facing a lawsuit against Southwest Airline Pilots Association due to the fact that there was 30,000 Southwest Airline flights that were canceled. And so they are seeking $100 million for compensation for the loss for the pilots.
So Boeing's breakdown. Congress is calling CEO Muhlenberg to step down from his position, and they're also stating whether he knew about the plane's defects and whether they were able to fly properly, and whether or not he pressured his employees to push for market. And you know, speculations show that he maybe have done that. Muhlenberg also stated that he didn't know about the details after a former Boeing pilot tested a simulator for the 737 MAX, and the company revoked his chairmanship, and he is still CEO, but whether or not replacing him can, sorry, I lost my words. The company is wondering whether replacing Muhlenberg can affect sales, and since the plane has been granted worldwide, they are wondering whether or not the company can profit. So, what's next for Boeing? They are trying to rush the 737 MAX back into service. They're expected to deliver new planes by December to airlines. They're also debating whether they should shut down their production line. They are currently building more planes, and they have no one to sell them to, so they're just keeping them in storage. So they are planning on shutting down the production line. And when will Boeing come back? Well, expectedly maybe December they will come back if they certify their planes to run properly and whatnot. Right now, Southwest Airlines have the most planes available with them, and since they have shut down their ties with Boeing, they are wondering whether or not they will also profit.
Also, just to add on, thousands of flights have been canceled, and like the pilots of the Southwest Airlines, they're suing Boeing for like $100 million just for like compensation, right? So since they can't run the planes anymore, like thousands of flights have been canceled, a lot of money is going down the drain, you know, like what's it called, just because of that. And also, this is our works cited page. Thank you.